Hey there, how's it going? Welcome to Looplearnings, and this is video number 3 of the series how to make payroll management system. If you haven't watched my previous 2 videos, please do that, and you would know that what we are working on. If you are new to my channel, welcome to Looplearnings. If you are returning to my channel, welcome back to Looplearnings. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, do that. Hit the bell icon so you get notification whenever I upload a new video. And to let me know if you end up liking this video or hating this video, whatever is your comment or your feedback, to let me know in the comments box as well. Okay, I hope that you will stay until the end of this video. I really hope that, although it seems to be very difficult for people because my analytics show me that. So I don't know whether my content is boring, my way of telling is boring, or I have no idea. So that's why you have to tell me so I can improve further. Anyway, let's move on. So in the last video number 2, I created a couple of tables. Now in this video also we'll do the same thing. We are going to create the rest of these tables. But before I do that, I want to make a correction in basically the tables, some of the tables, not all the tables, some of the tables. And I want to create 2 new tables as well before I proceed further. And those 2 tables are fiscal year and fiscal month. So here we go. So ID and fiscal year. Okay. I would say status. Now you must be wondering, what is the purpose of this? Well, just hold on. I will let you know later on. Okay. Let's create another table called fiscal months. So fiscal month and status. Okay, there we go. Now when we are saying fiscal months, what I would like to do is also I would like to have working days for each fiscal month. How about that? Okay, I'll tell you why. Alright, so that's what I wanted to add. So create, and in some of the tables like bonus table, I would like to, instead of payroll, I would like to add the fiscal year and fiscal months. Okay, fiscal year number field and fiscal month number field as well. Payroll will delete it. We don't need it. Okay, so I'm going to copy this. Let's see which table apart from this should have this fiscal year, fiscal month. So I don't think any of the table requires fiscal year, fiscal month, but the tables that I'm going to create now would certainly require fiscal year, fiscal month information. So let's go ahead and create our first table for this video, and that would be not first, technically the third table I'm going to create, incentive table. So I'll go to the create and I'll go to design view, give a name incentive, and I would say incentive ID and created on. All right, let's give a short date. Now what I would like to do is I would like to keep the same sequence of the information. Okay, let's add here bonus type. Let's add here the description as well in the bonus table. So a little bit of modification is going on, so it's good to have a description of the why the bonus is being given. So for which employee, now back to incentive table, for which employee we are giving incentive to, and what type of the incentive is, right? There could be different type of incentives. So for example, monthly incentive, annual incentive, right? Okay, incentive, sales incentive, onboard. What is onboarding incentive? I don't think so there is onboarding incentive, but let's say general incentive. Okay, Now you can create a separate table to maintain these categories, so you can modify later on, or you can modify later on in here as well. So it's up to you which approach you would like to take. Since I'm giving demo, I'm not creating a professional, I'm not creating this application for a production environment, so that's why I'm choosing this to be embedded in the table itself. But you can create entirely separate table for just for that, to store the incentive types, etc. Okay, now apart from this, I want to record for which year, and for which month. For fiscal month we are talking about, this incentive is being given. Now apart from type before fiscal year, fiscal month, how about adding the description? Okay guys, I don't have any script, so that's why you see me doing the changes on the fly. Whenever I see, oh okay, so this information is required, this is where, etc. Amount, so how much amount incentive is being given. So whenever you want to store a value that is money, always use numbers. And in here the field size should be double, standard format, decimal place is 1, and default value 0. You should remove it. Status, and I think 25 field size would be fine, and updated on date and time. Okay, here we go, that is it. So incentive table is created. So we're going to keep the similar structure for each table that we are going to create. So claims, let's create another table by going to ribbon, create table, design view. Now this table will be used to store the information about any claim that a employee would like to make. For example, employee has traveled somewhere, meal allowance, TADA, or medical allowance, medical claims, whatsoever. So that information would be storing here. So claim ID, and created on date, time, and short date, for which employee. Yeah, very important. Okay, and then we have to give information about what type of claim it is. So you can create a lookup wizard. So we'll say TADA. Yeah, you will say fuel charges. You would say, what else? I mean, there are 100 of things, but you know, medical claim, whatsoever. You can choose whatever you wish to have it in your list. It's up to you. We can provide a description about the claim for which the claim is being made. We can have for which fiscal year and fiscal months, and then we can have the amount, how much amount which is being paid. And you know that as part of amount, standard decimal place is 1, status, and there we go, and updated on. Okay, here we go. So claims table is done for now. Anyway, if there is any change, of course I will come back and I will do modification in the table, and there is no harm in doing that. Okay, that doesn't mean that, you know, it's a problem we cannot change. We can always come back to the tables and modify our structure however we want to, however it suits to our requirements, demands, or applications. Now let's move to medical allowance. In previous video you will see here health and wellness. I thought let's change it to medical allowance, so therefore I changed it. Okay, design view, So I will say medical, med ID, created on. Okay, again, format short date, employee ID, for which employee, and the description. Okay, after the description, fiscal year, then fiscal months, then amount, and status, and updated on. Okay, here we go. This table is also done. Now let's move on to leave entry. So let's go to create table, leave entry, leave ID, created on, then you can say for which employee, number field, and you can ask for the type of leave, not leave, lookup wizard. I will type myself, so it would be annual leave, could be authorized, unauthorized, we will have that information as well. It could be medical leave, it could be, what else, study leave, could be Hajj and Umrah leave, could be others, right? And after that we will have description of the leave, and we will have authorization, lookup wizard, whether it is authorized or unauthorized leave. Okay, and leave start date, so it should be short date, start time should be short time. Let's change the input mask as well by clicking on dot dot dot. Here we are. Let me copy the same, and we'll say end date, end time, and we will have then duration, which we will calculate with VBA perhaps, and we'll say how much amount that should be deducted. So here we go, and status updated on. Now two things I forgot, and that is fiscal year, fiscal month, fiscal year, fiscal month. All right, so that is done as well. Now this table I'm going to make later if it is required installment plan, otherwise I'll leave it, but let's see, later on we'll see. Now let's move on to table called payroll. Now this table is also very important. The purpose of this table is to store the information about the payroll. So basically every time a payroll that will be created, this table will hold the information about that payroll. Okay, all right, so PID created on, so this is the payroll that will be created. So that means we want to have information about fiscal year, and we want to have information about fiscal month, and we want to have information about approval. What is the status of approval? What I'm doing, man. Sometimes I just wonder why I do this. Approved on, and approved by, that would be okay. Status, now you must be wondering, well, how about that is it? This is it for the payroll table. Payroll table supposed to be a big table, has lots of information. Yes, definitely it can be. You can put anything you want, right? The more sugar you will put, the more sweetened it would be. So it's up to you. What I'm doing here is I'm just giving the basics of the basics, so I can actually give you the direction in which the things should be done. So that is what the purpose of doing this. Okay, so payroll ID created on, fiscal year, fiscal month, approval, approved by, approved on, status, updated on. For me, because I'm not making this application for any company or anyone else, it is just a demo, so that's why I would like to keep things to the basics. So please do let me know also what else should be added in the payroll. That would be appreciated. But if you want to go with the basics, this is it. You can follow this. If you want to make a n number of fields in the payroll table, most welcome, do that. Okay, now next table is payroll lines. So the purpose of this table, now this is the important table, by the way. So payroll line ID created on, so we'll have date and time, and for which employee, payroll ID, we are going to link this table with the payroll table. Basically the payroll table will be a overall table, overall information, but payroll line will hold the information for each individual employee. So if you will go to the grading structure table, you see you have this information such as grade of the person, the basic salary, HRA, transport allowance, medical, total salary, all of that is for one person, right? So if you have 10 employees, 100 employees, for each a separate payroll line will be created. If you're still not understanding, you will see when I'm making demo in the coming videos. So we want to store this information, and we want to also link this to a employee. So that means we'll give a reference of employee ID. Now each employee has a fixed salary component. So every time a payroll will run, it should fetch the information from database about the fixed salary. Now fixed salary consists of basic salary, HRA, transport, allowance, medical, and total salary. This total salary is basically a fixed salary. Now I'm going to copy the same rather than typing. Again, if you want to see the entire thing, please watch the previous video number 2, in which I have explained about this in detail. And now this total salary will become fixed salary. Okay. Now after one is fixed salary, after fetching the information about fixed salary, how about adding the earnings, right? Earnings. Now what do we mean by earnings? Well, earnings could be anything: additional incentive, a claim which employee might have submitted and it got approved, so therefore that money should be reimbursed to the employee in the salary, so that also becomes as kind of earning. It's not really earning, but let's add that into the earning table, earning field. Now that amount will come here, and this means we can calculate the gross salary. Now gross salary is, I think, before deduction, whatever salary is, including fixed salary and earnings, that becomes the gross salary. Okay, so I have to, it's not going to change that, so I have to, okay, now here we can do calculation: fixed salary plus the earnings. Okay, click OK. Now how about the deductions? Right, we do the deductions as well, and that will be recorded too. Now deduction in terms of unauthorized pay, right, that can also happen. Okay, so deduction in terms of unauthorized pay, or company might have given loan to an employee, so therefore the installments, that loan needs to pay back. All of that stuff will come here. Plus what I have not added in this application is taxes. So most of the countries in the world, for each country has different law to pay the income tax, so that gets deducted from the salaries as well. Now I have not added that as well, so if you want to add taxes, you are most welcome to do that. Okay, but for me, I'm going to go with the basics, and we are going to calculate the net payable. Oops. So we'll calculate, and net payable will be gross salary plus minus deduction. So whatever deduction needs to be done, that is done from the gross salary, and the remaining amount will become the net payable. Okay, then we can have status and update it on. That is it. Okay, cool. Next is payables, and then we will have the receivables. Now payables, for example, a payroll will be generated on 15th or 20th of the month, but the salary will actually be transferred to the bank or will be paid to the employees with cash. That may happen after the 10 days. So during those 10 days, the information will sit in the payables table. Similarly, we will have receivables table. Receivables mean, for example, if talking about the loan that company might have given to the employee, and the the installment needs to be paid, that information will be stored in receivables, right? If any penalty to the employee, so the employee has to pay fines, that fine will sit in, that information about fine will sit in the receivables table. So you can understand why these tables are very important from the financial aspects. We're going to create, right click design view, and we'll create the table called payable ID, created on, what is happening. Okay, here we go. Date and time, short date, for which employee. Very important to capture the employee's information, and type. Okay, well, short text, description if there is any, that will be written here. Then what do we have? Well, then fiscal year, fiscal month, right? Number field, fiscal month, number field again, and how much amount, and then we will have the status field, and we will have updated on, date and time, short date. All right, so payables table has been created. Now let's create receivables, and it would be the similar story. So receivable ID created on, right? And then we will have employee ID, type, description, fiscal year, fiscal month, amount, status, updated on. You can see that everything remains same, so therefore I copy and paste it. That is it. Now next thing I would like to do is create another table, and you know that this is my habit and I like that this practice also. So that table we are going to call flow table. Now what do we mean by flow? It's a flow of money. So either we are paying or we are deducting, whatever we are doing with the money, that information goes in one table, and later we use that table to make queries, to make reports, to fetch information, etc. So it's very useful to have that table. So I'm going to create that table, and design view, let's call it flow table, and flow ID created on, right? Why I always say number instead of date time. Then what we are going to do is we are going to ask for which fiscal year, first the type of information that is being stored. Is it earning or is it deduction, right? That information. So we'll use VBA code record sets to store the information, relevant information in this table. Okay, so flow ID created on, what type of information is going to be stored, what is the reference number, employee ID, for which employee this information is going to be stored. And next thing we want to get, let's say I'm adding this, right? Or let's say payroll ID or payable ID, or let's say we get the bonus table. So we have the document, description. Okay, then we have, how about category, right? Category is earning or deduction, and then type would be receivables, bonus, incentive, leave entry. That would become the type, leave entry, bonus, incentive. That will become the type of information that is going to sit in this field. Okay, So description also we can store. We can have fiscal year. Okay, we can have fiscal months. All right, then we can have amount. That's the main information we are looking for. We will have status, updated on. All right, okay, so this is it. This is a very important table. I'm missing something here, but we'll come back later and see what I'm missing here. But I think this is it for today's video. If you're still watching, kudos to you. I mean, thank you so much if you're still watching, because generally people don't really watch. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and if you like whatever you've seen, give a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon so you get notification whenever I upload a new video. Tell me in the comments below, what did you learn, what you did not learn, what I am missing, everything you can say. Thank you so much for your support. Keep supporting, and I will see you in the next one.